Saturday, December the 30th. Lake level is down about 5 feet. It's about 9-10, about 5 feet below normal. Must be making lots of electricity because they've been generating pretty much non-stop for a couple weeks. And it's going down, several inches a day. Now, the water temperature, it depends where you're at on the lake. You'll find anywhere from real low 50s to low 40s. The upper river arms and the backs of the creeks, where the water's shallow and off-colored, it's getting pretty cold. And I would expect with the weather forecast we got the next week, going to see quite a bit of ice before the end of next week. The backs of the creeks, the upper river arms will start to freeze. And, that's not really a bad thing because we haven't had a good shad kill in several years. So if that water will get down throughout the lake into the mid-40s, maybe a little lower, that'll take and kill off a lot of the weak and injured shad, ones that maybe got diseases, which is just kind of a cycle that the lake goes through, just Mother Nature's way of getting rid of the weak and making the strong stronger. But as far as the fishing report, I didn't get a chance to get out too much with Christmas and everything going on. I hope everyone had a great Christmas. I did get to get out one day, and we caught several fish on jerkbaits and crankbaits, mostly on secondary points back in the creeks. Didn't do any deep fishing, but I'm going to say that's probably the best bite right now as far as numbers. I did idle across several areas where it looked like it was holding deep fish, and they were in the center of a lot of these creeks out over the deep submerged timber. And the fish were anywhere from 25 to 45 feet deep, and there was a lot of gulls and loons in the same areas, which is usually a good indication that there's a bunch of bait back there, which there was. And there's still some fish out on the main lake. A lot of the fish I've caught out on the main lake or were catching were mostly Kentuckies out off the gravel points. The better fish that I was catching deep have been in the creeks and around timber. And even out on the main lake bluffs, where the channels swing into the bluffs and swing out, out there anywhere from 25 to 45 feet deep. Been using jigging spoons, ice fishing jig, and grubs out there. But the other day when I went out and was catching jerkbait fish, we also caught several really good crappie, 15 to 16 inch crappie. And the crappie are really getting grouped up just outside the areas where they're going to spawn, because they'll actually start to spawn in late February. But they're out there suspended about 8 to 12 feet over submerged timber, cedar trees. And they're pretty easy to find on your electronics. Probably of all the species of fish other than shad, I think the crappie are the easiest ones to find on your locator and to tell what type of fish they are just by the way that they group up. You'll see them in big groups, and you'll see lots of individual specks. Similar to like a school of bait fish, but not as thick. But like I said, we were catching them on jerkbaits, so I think the next time I go out, I'm going to bring my crappie rods with me and some little tubes and see if I can't load the boat up. But look, like I said, this next week, the weather looks like it's going to be extremely cold. And just got a couple tips for you. If you've got your boat sitting outside, and if your batteries aren't charged, you want to make sure they're charged up. So plug them in or put a charger on them, because it'll get cold enough this next week. If those batteries are run down or low, it's possible that they could freeze and you could ruin your batteries. Also, it'll just help extend the life of your batteries if they're fully charged through this cold. Another thing is make sure your live wells are empty, and even pump a little air. Run your circulators and your fill in case there's any water trapped in the water lines. If you've got a low spot where that water will get trapped, it'll freeze and break that line, even with the cover and stuff on it. It's going to get extremely cold, it looks like, this next week. But I'd also like to take this time and thank everybody. It's been a great year. I met a lot of new people last year. And one good thing about my job is I get people from all over the country, all different walks of life. So, it really makes my day enjoyable. And I just want to thank everybody that I had out last year for the time that we got to spend together. It really makes my day enjoyable. And I hope theirs was enjoyable as well. So, Till next week, good luck, good fishing.